Imagine yourself in the vibrant streets of Rio de Janeiro, surrounded by the rhythm of samba, the aroma of delicious street food, and the warm smiles of locals. Brazil, a land of contrasts and wonders, where the beaches are golden, the rainforests are teeming with life, and the cities pulse with energy. But beneath this surface of beauty and excitement lies a complex web of cultural taboos and unspoken rules that even seasoned travelers may not expect. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating and sometimes surprising taboos of Brazil, those little-known cultural quirks that could turn a simple gesture into an offense, or a seemingly innocent action into a serious misstep. From forbidden symbols and dangerous destinations to unique societal norms that challenge our usual expectations, each section will uncover what you need to know to navigate Brazil like a local and avoid common pitfalls. So, whether you're planning a visit to this incredible country or you're just curious about its rich culture, stay tuned as we delve into the 20 taboos you must know before stepping foot in Brazil. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single detail. Number 20. It is forbidden to visit Snake Island. Ilha de Queimada Grande, commonly known as Snake Island, is one of the most dangerous places on Earth, and for a good reason. It's home to thousands of highly venomous snakes. Located off the coast of Sao Paulo, this island is completely off-limits to the public, and only a select few scientists are granted permission to study its deadly inhabitants. The Brazilian government strictly prohibits visits to Snake Island to protect both the public and the fragile ecosystem of the island. The golden lancehead pit viper, one of the world's most venomous snakes, dominates the island, and an encounter with one could be fatal. It's estimated that there is one snake per square meter, making it incredibly dangerous for anyone to step foot on the island. The government's ban on visiting Snake Island is not just for safety, but also to preserve the snake species that are unique to this environment. Despite the island's danger, it's shrouded in mystery and intrigue, attracting the curiosity of adventurers and snake enthusiasts. However, respecting the prohibition is crucial, as breaking this rule could result in severe consequences. Understanding why certain areas are off-limits in Brazil helps in appreciating the country's efforts to protect its unique wildlife and natural habitats. Number 19. It is forbidden to enter the slums. Brazil's favelas, or slums, are infamous for their high crime rates and poverty, but they are also vibrant communities with rich cultures. Despite this, it is highly discouraged and often forbidden for tourists to enter these areas without proper guidance. The danger lies in the lack of security and the presence of gangs that control many of these neighborhoods. Venturing into a favela without a local guide can be extremely risky and is not recommended. While some organized tours do exist, offering a glimpse into the life within a favela, it's essential to choose these tours carefully. Reputable tour companies work with the community and ensure that visitors are safe, while also contributing positively to the local economy. However, even with a guide, it's important to remain vigilant and respectful, understanding that you are entering a place where people live under difficult circumstances. The allure of seeing the real Brazil might tempt some tourists to explore these areas on their own, but it's crucial to respect the local laws and warnings. Favelas are complex environments with their own rules and codes of conduct, and it's important to approach them with sensitivity and caution. When in Brazil, always prioritize your safety and adhere to the advice of locals and authorities. Number 18. It is forbidden to use the OK hand symbol. In many parts of the world, the OK hand gesture is a harmless way to signify approval or agreement. However, in Brazil, this simple gesture carries a much more offensive connotation. Using the OK symbol here is considered highly disrespectful and can be interpreted as a rude and obscene gesture. This is because the gesture is similar to a common offensive symbol in Brazilian culture. So what might seem like a friendly acknowledgement could quickly lead to misunderstandings or even confrontations. It's essential to be aware of cultural differences, especially when it comes to body language and gestures. Brazilians are generally warm and friendly people, but making the OK sign could potentially offend someone and disrupt the positive atmosphere. If you want to show that everything is all right, it's safer to use a thumbs up, which is a more universally accepted gesture in Brazil. As a visitor, it's important to respect the customs and traditions of the places you visit. Being mindful of gestures like the OK symbol can go a long way in ensuring that you have a positive and respectful interaction with locals. Always be aware of how certain gestures are perceived in different cultures, and when in doubt, it's better to ask or simply refrain from using them. Number 17. It is forbidden to disturb the mysterious Amazon forest. The Amazon rainforest, often called the lungs of the earth, is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. While the forest is a popular destination for eco-tourists, it's important to remember that this vast and mysterious wilderness is also home to countless species and indigenous tribes. Disturbing the natural balance of the Amazon, whether through deforestation, littering, or disrupting wildlife, is strictly forbidden and can have devastating consequences. Visitors to the Amazon should always be mindful of their impact on the environment. It's essential to follow strict guidelines when exploring the rainforest, including staying on designated paths, not removing plants or animals, and respecting the local wildlife. The Amazon is a delicate ecosystem, and even small actions can lead to significant harm. Responsible tourism is key to preserving this natural wonder for future generations. Moreover, the Amazon is not just a natural treasure. It's also home to many indigenous tribes who have lived in harmony with the forest for centuries. Respecting their land and way of life is crucial, and visitors should be aware that certain areas are off-limits to protect these communities. By following the rules and respecting the Amazon's mysteries, we can help ensure that this incredible ecosystem remains intact. Number 16. Show respect. Don't criticize the food. Food is an integral part of Brazilian culture, and meals are often a time for socializing and enjoying the company of others. When dining in Brazil, it's important to show respect and appreciation for the food that is offered to you. Criticizing or showing discomfort with the food is considered highly disrespectful and can offend your hosts. Even if you don't particularly like what's being served, it's better to accept it graciously and eat what you can. In Brazilian culture, refusing food or making negative comments about it can be seen as a rejection of the hospitality being offered. Brazilians take great pride in their culinary traditions, and meals are often prepared with love and care. Whether you're being served feijoada, Brazil's national dish, or a simple cafezinho, black coffee, always remember to express your gratitude. If you have dietary restrictions or preferences, it's best to communicate these in advance, rather than refusing food at the table. This way, your host can accommodate your needs without feeling insulted. Remember, sharing a meal in Brazil is more than just eating. It's about building relationships and showing respect for the culture and the people who welcome you into their homes. Number 15. Flaunting wealth? Think again. Brazil is a country with stark contrast between wealth and poverty, and it's important to be mindful of this when visiting. Flaunting wealth, whether through flashy jewelry, expensive clothing, or extravagant spending, is considered in poor taste and can even make you a target for crime. In Brazil, it's best to be discreet about your wealth and avoid showing off, as it can come across as insensitive to those who are less fortunate. Brazilians are generally warm and welcoming people, but there is a cultural expectation to be modest and humble, especially when it comes to wealth. Being overly flashy can create a negative impression and distance you from the locals. It's important to dress appropriately and avoid making a spectacle of your spending, whether you're in a restaurant, a shopping center, or at a social event. Moreover, flaunting wealth can also attract unwanted attention from thieves and pickpockets, especially in crowded areas. Brazil has a high rate of petty crime, and tourists who are perceived as wealthy are often targeted. To ensure your safety and maintain good relations with the locals, it's best to keep a low profile and be respectful of the economic realities of the country. Number 14. Noiva Cordeiro, the land of only women. Noiva do Cordeiro is a unique community in Brazil that has gained international attention for its population, which is predominantly female. Located in the state of Minas Gerais, this small town is known as the land of only women, where women have created a society that is self-sustaining and governed by their own rules. While the town is not entirely off-limits to men, there are cultural taboos that visitors should be aware of when visiting this community. In Noiva do Cordeiro, the women are the primary decision-makers, and they have built a society based on cooperation, equality, and mutual respect. Visitors to the town should be mindful of the cultural norms and avoid making assumptions based on traditional gender roles. It's important to approach this unique community with an open mind and respect the way of life that the women of Noiva do Cordeiro have created. The town's history is rich with stories of resilience and empowerment, and it's a fascinating example of a matriarchal society. However, it's also a place where privacy and community values are highly regarded. Visitors should avoid being intrusive and should respect the boundaries set by the community. Understanding the significance of Noiva do Cordeiro and its cultural taboos is key to appreciating this extraordinary place. Number 13. Punctuality isn't a priority. In many parts of the world, punctuality is considered a virtue, but in Brazil, being on time is not always a priority. It's common for Brazilians to arrive late to social gatherings, parties, and even some business meetings. This relaxed approach to time is deeply ingrained in the culture, and it's important for visitors to understand that punctuality in Brazil does not carry the same weight as it might in other countries. When attending social events, it's generally acceptable to arrive 30 minutes to an hour after the stated time. In fact, arriving on time can sometimes be seen as unusual or even impolite, as hosts may not be fully prepared to receive guests. This cultural norm extends to a variety of settings, and it's important to be flexible and patient when dealing with time-related matters in Brazil. However, this does not mean that punctuality is entirely disregarded in all situations. In professional settings, particularly in more formal business environments, it's still important to respect deadlines and be timely. The key is to understand the context and adapt to the situation. Embracing Brazil's laid-back approach to time can help you enjoy the culture and avoid unnecessary stress during your visit. Number 12. Nude beaches, a Brazilian custom. Brazil is home to several nude beaches, where sunbathing in the nude is not only accepted but celebrated as part of the country's liberal attitude towards body image and freedom. However, it's important to know that while nude beaches are common, there are specific norms and etiquettes that should be followed. For instance, nudity is expected only in designated areas, and discretion is required to respect the comfort of all beachgoers. Nude beaches in Brazil, such as Praia do Abrigo in Rio de Janeiro, attract both locals and tourists who appreciate the freedom to enjoy the sun and sea without clothing. If you choose to visit one of these beaches, it's essential to be respectful of the environment and the people around you. Photography is generally frowned upon unless explicit permission is granted, and overt sexual behavior is strictly prohibited. The key to enjoying a nude beach in Brazil is to approach it with an open mind and a respectful attitude. These beaches are spaces where people can feel comfortable in their own skin without judgment, and it's important to contribute to that positive atmosphere. Whether you participate in the nudity or not, understanding and respecting the customs of these beaches will ensure that you have a pleasant experience. Number 11. Religion is sacred. Religion plays a significant role in Brazilian society, and it's important to approach the topic with respect and sensitivity. Brazil is home to a diverse range of religious beliefs, with Catholicism being the most widely practiced. However, other religions, including Protestantism, Afro-Brazilian religions like Candomblé and Spiritism, are also practiced. Discussing or criticizing someone's religion is a major taboo and can be deeply offensive. Brazilians are generally open and welcoming when it comes to discussing religion, but it's crucial to approach these conversations with an open mind and respect for differing beliefs. Avoid making negative comments or questioning someone's faith, as this can lead to tension and misunderstandings. Instead, if religion comes up in conversation, express interest and curiosity in a respectful manner. It's also important to be mindful of religious customs and practices when visiting Brazil. For example, many businesses and public services close on religious holidays, and it's common to see religious symbols displayed in homes and public spaces. Understanding and respecting the importance of religion in Brazil will help you navigate social interactions with grace and sensitivity. Number 10. Mind your touch. Personal space in Brazil. Brazilian culture is known for its warmth and friendliness, but it's important to understand the boundaries of personal space and physical touch. While Brazilians are often more physically affectionate than people from other cultures, there are still unspoken rules about how and when to touch others. For example, it's common to greet friends with a kiss on the cheek, but excessive touching, especially with strangers, can be seen as intrusive. When meeting someone for the first time, a handshake is the most appropriate form of greeting. Once you've established a relationship, you may notice that Brazilians are more comfortable with physical closeness, but it's important to follow their lead. Avoid overly familiar gestures, like hugging or touching someone's arm, unless you're sure it's welcomed. In crowded places, such as public transportation or busy markets, it's important to be mindful of personal space. While some jostling is inevitable, being respectful of others' space shows consideration and good manners. Understanding the nuances of physical touch in Brazil will help you navigate social interactions smoothly and avoid any unintended discomfort. Number 9. It is forbidden to disturb natural elements. Brazil is blessed with a diverse range of natural wonders, from its stunning beaches to its towering mountains. However, with this beauty comes the responsibility to protect it. It is forbidden to disturb or damage natural elements in Brazil. Whether it's littering in a national park, removing sand from a beach, or picking flowers in a protected area. Such actions can harm the environment and disrupt the natural balance that makes these places so special. Preservation of the environment is taken seriously in Brazil, and there are strict laws in place to protect the country's natural heritage. Visitors should always be mindful of their actions when exploring Brazil's natural landscapes. This includes staying on marked trails, properly disposing of waste, and refraining from touching or disturbing wildlife. The goal is to leave no trace and ensure that these beautiful places remain unspoiled. By respecting the natural elements of Brazil, visitors contribute to the conservation efforts that are vital to maintaining the country's rich biodiversity. Whether you're hiking in the mountains, diving in the coral reefs, or simply enjoying a day at the beach, always remember that you are a guest in these natural environments. Treat them with care and respect to help preserve Brazil's natural beauty for generations to come. Number 8. Beware of the poroka wave. The poroka is a natural phenomenon that occurs in the Amazon River, where tidal waves from the Atlantic Ocean travel upstream, creating massive waves that can reach heights of up to 12 feet. While this wave is a surfer's dream, it's also extremely dangerous and unpredictable. Surfing the poroka requires a high level of skill and bravery, and it's forbidden for inexperienced surfers to attempt it due to the potential risks. The poroka wave is not just powerful, it's also accompanied by a strong current, floating debris, and even wildlife like alligators and piranhas, making it one of the most dangerous waves in the world. Surfers who do take on the poroka must be highly experienced and should always go with a guide who understands the river's dynamics. This is not a wave for the faint-hearted, and even seasoned surfers approach it with caution. For those who prefer to stay on land, the poroka is still a fascinating natural event to witness. Watching the waves surge through the river, carrying everything in its path, is a reminder of the raw power of nature. However, it's important to respect the dangers associated with the poroka and understand why it's considered taboo for inexperienced individuals to engage with this force of nature. Number 7. Music and dance. The heart of Brazil. Music and dance are at the very core of Brazilian culture, and it's nearly impossible to separate the two from everyday life in Brazil. From samba to bossa nova, music is a constant presence. Whether you're walking through the streets of Rio de Janeiro or relaxing on a beach in Bahia, dancing, particularly samba, is not just a form of entertainment but a way of expressing joy, community, and cultural identity. In Brazil, it's common for spontaneous dance sessions to break out in bars, on the streets, or during festivals. Even if you're not much of a dancer, it's important to embrace the music and join in the fun. Refusing to participate or dismissing the music can be seen as rude or as a lack of appreciation for Brazilian culture. The energy of Brazilian music is infectious, and you'll find that letting go and joining in can lead to some of the most memorable moments of your trip. Whether you're attending a samba school during Carnival or simply enjoying live music at a local bar, remember that music and dance are expressions of Brazil's vibrant spirit. Don't be afraid to move to the rhythm, even if you're not familiar with the steps. In Brazil, it's all about the experience and the connections you make through the universal language of music. Number 6. Don't discuss money. Discussing money, income, or wealth is considered a major taboo in Brazil. Unlike in some cultures where financial success might be openly discussed or even celebrated, Brazilians tend to keep these matters private. Talking about how much you earn, how much something costs, or comparing wealth can be seen as boastful and insensitive, particularly in a country with significant income inequality. In social settings, it's best to avoid topics related to money altogether. Instead, focus on the experience, the people, and the moment. Brazilians value relationships and personal connections over material wealth, and discussing money can disrupt the positive atmosphere. If the topic of money does come up, it's better to be vague and shift the conversation to something more neutral. Understanding this cultural taboo is important for building good relationships in Brazil. Whether you're meeting new friends, attending a social event, or engaging in business, keeping discussions of money off the table will help you navigate Brazilian social norms with ease. Remember, in Brazil, what matters most is the quality of your interactions, not the size of your bank account. Number 5. Don't drink beer alone. In Brazil, drinking beer is often a social activity, and it's uncommon to see someone drinking alone in public. Sharing a beer with friends or family is a common way to relax and socialize, and it's considered a bonding experience. If you find yourself in a bar or restaurant, it's customary to invite others to join you for a drink, and drinking alone might be viewed as unusual or even a sign of loneliness. Beer in Brazil is typically served in large bottles, and the tradition is to share the bottle among the group, pouring it into small glasses. This practice not only fosters camaraderie but also ensures that the beer stays cold, which is a priority in Brazil's warm climate. When you're invited to join a group for a drink, it's polite to reciprocate by ordering the next round or sharing your beer. Understanding this social custom can enhance your experience in Brazil, as you'll have more opportunities to connect with locals and participate in the country's vibrant social life. Remember, drinking in Brazil is less about the alcohol and more about the people you're with. So, next time you're offered a beer, don't hesitate to share the moment with those around you. Number 4. Whistling and snapping fingers, a big no-no. In Brazilian culture, certain gestures like whistling or snapping fingers are considered impolite and disrespectful. Whistling, especially indoors, is often associated with calling animals or signaling to someone in a demeaning manner. Similarly, snapping your fingers to get someone's attention is viewed as rude and should be avoided, particularly in social or dining situations. These gestures, while harmless in some cultures, carry different connotations in Brazil. For example, snapping your fingers at a waiter in a restaurant is considered very disrespectful, as it implies impatience and a lack of respect for the person serving you. Instead, it's better to wait patiently or politely signal for attention if needed. Understanding these nuances is important for showing respect in Brazilian social interactions. To avoid offending anyone, it's best to refrain from using these gestures and instead use more neutral and polite ways to communicate. Brazilians value warmth and friendliness, and showing respect through your actions and gestures will go a long way in building positive relationships. Always be mindful of how your body language is perceived in different cultural contexts. Number 3. Respect the queue. Queuing, or waiting in line, is taken very seriously in Brazil. Whether you're at a supermarket, a bus stop, or a government office, it's important to respect the queue and wait your turn. Cutting in line is a major taboo and is likely to provoke anger and frustration from those around you. Brazilians value fairness and order when it comes to queuing, and everyone is expected to wait their turn patiently. In busy cities like São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, you'll often find long lines at popular attractions, restaurants, and public transportation hubs. Even in these situations, it's crucial to respect the queue. Attempting to bypass the line or using excuses to move ahead will not be well received and could lead to confrontations. It's a simple rule, but it's one that Brazilians take very seriously. By respecting the queue, you not only avoid conflict but also demonstrate your understanding and respect for Brazilian social norms. It's a small gesture, but it reflects your willingness to follow local customs and be considerate of others. In Brazil, patience is key, and waiting your turn is a sign of good manners and respect for the community. Number 2. Eating etiquette, the Brazilian way. Brazilian eating etiquette involves more than just the food on your plate. It's about the experience, the company, and the respect you show to your hosts. One key aspect of Brazilian dining culture is that meals are meant to be enjoyed slowly, with conversation and social interaction playing a central role. Rushing through a meal or eating too quickly can be seen as rude, as it suggests that you're not fully appreciating the effort that went into preparing the food. When dining in Brazil, it's customary to wait for everyone to be served before beginning to eat. This practice emphasizes the importance of shared experiences and ensures that everyone is included. Additionally, Brazilians typically use both a fork and knife when eating, even for foods that might be considered finger foods in other cultures. Cutting food with your knife and eating with your fork is the norm, and it's considered polite to follow this practice. Another important aspect of Brazilian eating etiquette is to show appreciation for the food by complimenting the cook or host. Even if the food is not to your liking, it's better to express gratitude and focus on the positive aspects of the meal. In Brazil, meals are about more than just sustenance. They are an opportunity to connect with others and celebrate the joys of life. By respecting these customs, you'll not only enjoy your meal more, but also build stronger connections with your hosts. Number 1. National pride runs deep. Brazil is a country with a rich history, vibrant culture, and deep national pride. Criticizing Brazil, its people, or its cultural achievements is considered a major taboo and can quickly offend locals. Brazilians take great pride in their country's contributions to the world, from its music and dance to its natural beauty and sports achievements. Negative comments about these aspects of Brazilian life are likely to be met with strong disapproval. When discussing Brazil with locals, it's best to focus on the positive aspects and express genuine interest and admiration. Brazilians are passionate about their country, and they appreciate when others recognize its strengths. Whether you're talking about football, carnival, or the Amazon rainforest, showing respect and enthusiasm for Brazil's national identity will help you build rapport with the people you meet. If you have criticisms or concerns, it's important to approach them with sensitivity and respect. Brazilians are open to constructive conversations, but they value positive reinforcement and a shared sense of pride in their nation. By understanding and respecting this deep-seated national pride, you'll create more meaningful connections and leave a positive impression during your time in Brazil. And there you have it, 20 taboos you need to know before you visit Brazil. By understanding these cultural nuances, you'll not only avoid any awkward situations, but also gain a deeper appreciation for the rich and diverse culture of this incredible country. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on travel and culture. Obrigado, and see you in the next video.